Hydrographs. In this video we'll be looking at the key terminology and how to label a hydrograph. We'll also be looking at the two different types, so a flashy hydrograph and a slow response hydrograph, and we'll be looking at an example. Before I explain what a hydrograph is, there is a keyword you need to know. This keyword is discharge. And this is the volume of water flowing in a river channel per second, measured in cubic, i.e. cubic meters per second. Hydrographs show how the discharge at a certain point in a river changes over time in relation to rainfall. As you can see on the hydrograph, there are several blank boxes. We are now going to run through the key terminology and label it. Let's start by having a look at the axis. The horizontal axis is time. It could be measured in hours or days. The vertical axis measures the rainfall and discharge. The peak discharge is the maximum amount of water held in the channel. Peak rainfall is the maximum amount of rainfall that's fallen, and that's measured in millimeters. We have the lag time, and this is the measure of time taken between the peak rainfall and the peak discharge. Lag time occurs because most rainfall doesn't actually fall directly into the river. Instead, it falls on land and then travels to the river via surface runoff, which is water moving across the surface, or through ground flow, which is water moving beneath the surface. So lag time can vary due to various things. For example, lag time could be short if the ground is impermeable, so rain won't be able to soak through it. Instead, you'll have surface runoff, and this will reach the river fairly promptly. However, if the ground is permeable, for example if it's a grass field, water will infiltrate or soak into the ground. This will then travel to the river beneath the ground. This is known as groundwater flow. This is a much slower process, and as a result the lag time will be longer. We've also got the rising limb, which shows the increase in discharge on a hydrograph, and we've got the falling limb, which shows the return of discharge to the normal or base flow on a hydrograph. Some hydrographs will also show the base flow. This is the normal discharge of that river. Okay, so this is on a day where there's no rainfall, just what the water level, the average water level would be like. Not all hydrographs look the same. In fact, we've got two types. We've got flashy hydrographs and slow response hydrographs. We're going to start by looking at flashy hydrographs. So some of the third characteristics: we have a short lag time, we have steep rising limb due to lots of surface runoff, and we have high peak discharge. A slow response hydrograph, however, has a gradual rising limb, it has a lower peak discharge, and it has a longer lag time. Now, let's have a look at them side by side so you can compare differences. The main things to compare are the lag time, the steepness of the rising limb, and the peak discharge. Okay, now let's have a look at the example. On here you've got two hydrographs. We've got Ostwick Beck and Clapham Beck. You'll notice that the rainfall was exactly the same over a 4-hour period, and the peak rainfall occurred at the same time, but the lag time was different. On an exam you'll have to suggest why this happens. So in this example, Ostwick Beck could have impermeable rock, steep relief, or be an urban area with hard standing, such as tarmac. It could be a deforested area or even a ploughed field. Factors such as these allow water to reach the river faster, so you have a small lag time. If you are unsure why, watch the causes of flooding video. On the other hand, Clapham Beck could be an area where there is permeable rock, a forest with plenty of trees, or an area of fields or grassy areas. Again, if you're unsure why, have a look at the causes of floods video. Okay, now that you have revised hydrographs, have a go at answering the following questions. What is the lag time? What is peak discharge? On a flashy hydrograph, is the lag time short or long? On a slow response hydrograph, is the rising limb steep or gradual? Pause the video now before the answers appear. Okay, so the lag time is the time taken between peak rainfall and peak discharge. Peak discharge is the maximum amount of water held in the channel. On a flashy hydrograph, the lag time is short, and on a slow response hydrograph, the rising limb is gradual.